Mr. Henry Attaway,
Mr. Brian Edward,
co-founder and director of development for Brass Roots, or The Brass Roots.
The Brass Roots. The article is very important there. We paid a lot of money for that,
This is a brass ensemble.
Brass ensemble
is new here to Pittsburgh. So what's the story?
Well, the story was we, the founders, there are four of us, Jonathan Speak, tuba, David Gardner, trumpet, Chris Perlberg, tuba, and myself, euphonium.
That's a lot of brass.
I know, it's a lot of brass. We were all getting ready to graduate from Carnegie Mellon University as second-year master's students in the music program. And with graduation looming, we all began to panic. What are we going to do when we're done here? And so we sort of got the idea to pool our talents together and build something.
So what typically happens within a brass ensemble like this?
Well, within a brass ensemble, and it's important to make the distinction because Pittsburgh is already home to the country's only professional brass band, the River City Brass, who has a very British-inspired sound. And while that probably doesn't mean much to the lay, from a musical standpoint, it's a very warm sound, a very dark sound, whereas a brass ensemble is more symphonic in nature, much brighter, orchestrally based.
Brass has always kind of struck me as fun. I mean, when I hear brass ensemble, my mind kind of goes to like Dixieland and Christmas. Well, no, there's nothing better than a brass ensemble at Christmas, you know, and then a little tear comes down your eye, you know, it's beautiful.
Exactly, and you know, that's one of the reasons why we were so excited to put a group like this together because, you know, like you said, it's a very versatile kind of instrument. You know, it's associated with everything from Dixieland to Holiday to Pops to, you know, again, that serious artistic rep. So because of all of that, we're able to present ourselves in a variety of ways. The thing that you can expect when we're out and about, regardless of what style of music we're playing, is music of the highest quality. Just about everyone in our trumpet section, for example, has performed on stage with the Pittsburgh Symphony Orchestra or the Pittsburgh Opera. Our members have been featured with ensembles such as the Denver Brass, River City, the list goes on and on and on. So the audience can always expect to hear just the absolute highest quality music wherever they come, with our true signature being the sound and the power behind it.
So is it difficult to put a team like that together? It's kind of like the A-team of brass is what it sounds like to me. Do you find them? Do they come to you?
Well, you know, we were very lucky during our graduate programs here in Pittsburgh. We had teachers who encouraged us to branch out beyond the traditional realm of music making, which is to lock yourself in a practice room and just, you know, shed those excerpts so that you might one day win an audition. Our conductor, for example, Lance Leduc, was my teacher during my time at Carnegie Mellon, and was always, you know, go out into the community, find new outlets for your music making. And through all of that, we began to form friendships and partnerships with other musicians. And when it came time to start the Brass Roots, the wish list for like who would we get to fill the roster of this ensemble, you know, was very short. Because we had already found the people that we would want, and we were just so touched and honored when they said yes.
Now, what do you play exactly?
Now, I play the very rare and often misunderstood euphonium.
That's a type of pachyderm, isn't it?
Yes. No.
That is a musical instrument?
It is a musical instrument. Probably.
Is it something you speak into? I think Edison invented this, right?
So the euphonium is, in fact, a tuba. It's a member of the tuba family. But whereas a tuba, you know, as we all commonly know it, is a bass instrument, this is a tenor instrument. So I like to refer to it as the smaller, prettier sounding tuba.
Oh, well, see, there you go.
So for this first concert, what we decided to do was put together a program that highlights some of the most exciting moments of the orchestral repertoire. And in doing so, we thought that we could really kick the season off with a bang. You're going to hear selections from Mahler's Second Symphony, Mussorgsky's Pictures at an Exhibition, and many, many more.
And all done with brass.
And all done with brass.
Now, were these written for all brass or adapted for brass?
The majority of them were adapted. We will be playing a few fanfare selections that were originally written for all brass instruments, but for the most part, these were arrangements that were done by sometimes composers, other times brass players themselves who felt the need to showcase the talents of their instrument. We recently became the ensemble in residence here at Soldiers and Sailors.
Wow, that's actually pretty significant.
It's very significant. I mean, the hall that we're sitting in right now is I mean, just take a look. I mean, it's amazing. It's one of the most acoustically sound venues here in Pittsburgh.
It is. We sound great right now.
We sound fantastic.
We should cut a demo.
I think we should. This space has been used, throughout the 20th century as a home for live music performances. The Pittsburgh Symphony has recorded many of their discs here. In the early 20th century, when the New York Philharmonic embarked on their first North American tour, their conductor Gustav Mahler brought them to this space. This is where he chose to present his ensemble to the people of Western Pennsylvania.
Wow. So if I love brass and a euphonium playing Silent Night at Christmas time makes me misty-eyed, how can I support you?
How can you support us? Well, you can support us primarily by coming to our performances. There's nothing that musicians love more than to see a full house. And to that end, tell your friends. The more people that we can bring in, the merrier. And as we continue to grow and expand, there will be a variety of ways in which folks can support us. Some of our long-term goals are recording projects, which we're going to need, support from members of the community if we want to do them well. But in the meantime, if you'd like to support our organization, just come and listen, because there's no better way to help at this point.
Can you do a Christmas album?
And the drummers, being all suave and cool, said, "Oh, I play drums." And then the bartender looks to me and says, "And what do you play?" And I was just like, "The euphonium." And I kid you not, the bartender says to me, "Did you make it?"
Yeah, it's kind of like being in prison and they're like, "What are you in for?" "I knifed a guy." "What are you in for?" Mail fraud.
Exactly. That's exactly what it felt like.
There is something inherently humorous, I think, about tubas and things like that. Is it solely because it can imitate flatulence?
There are more arts organizations per capita here in Pittsburgh than anywhere else in the country.
I've also heard that about bars. Maybe there's a correlation.
I think you might be onto something.
Are you telling me are brass players drinkers?
No. No, heavens no.
Now say that again, but lie only half as much. Now see, there's something to think about there, partnering with dance, because if there were any type of music that I think should accompany me dancing, it would be tuba music.
It would be tuba.
I didn't see this interview going in this direction, but I like it.